How you all doing? It's December 26, 2012. This is a new broadcast transmission to all those who can hear it. And what you got on your screen in front of you is about the Republicans bending on issues. And this message is for all mainline Republicans who, for all this time, who supported Bush, supported Bush Daddy, who supported a lot of filthy globalists that ran for office, that were just fat, stubborn elites that want to suck off the American taxpayer. They were never on your side. All your country club stuff and the, oh, I got a rifle and I'm a big bad Republican and this, that, and the third. Like, all those stereotypes didn't mean nothing. Because, see, the Democrats are the same as the Republicans. Me, I believe in freedom, I believe in rights. All the rights afforded to us underneath the Constitution, inalienable rights we get from our Creator. And this is the message to Republicans. You've been duped. You've been fooled. You've been lied to all along. Those people you tried to call conspiracy theorists told you that the Democrats and Republicans work together for each other. The real movement, mainline Republicans you need to get on is the libertarian movement. The movement that supports everybody's individual rights. Under the Constitution. That's the party you need to be with. You need to be with those that stand for something right. So you've got John Boehner, whose real name is Boner. He introduces a bill which is basically socialism, 101, but except socialism is like corporatism. It's like trying to sell you a pipe dream. Like, we're gonna raise taxes on. What he had in this bill was tax rates go up over all income over $1 million, all personal income over $1 million. So no, 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 you don't get to keep your money. The government ran up a deficit, but you don't get to keep your money. But never mind. And then listen, the plan doesn't even have the spending cuts. So, because all the spending cuts are projected over a 10-year period, and it doesn't address the current spending. See what I'm saying? They'll have a spending cut and say, oh, they're going after the welfare. When even the welfare budget isn't the dominant part of our budget. Welfare doesn't dominate the United States economy. It's a small part. Just like if you raise tax rates. See, the big secret about raising tax rates on those that make over $1 million, you know how much that would pay for? 2 days of government. 2 days of government. So that showed you that this whole debate, this whole rhetoric is ridiculous. It's just some soft, cotton soft, non-logic, no fact-based rhetoric coming from the executive branch right now, saying, look, you know, we're going to go over the fiscal cliff, you know what I'm saying? Which is not a cliff, it's just a bunch of tax hikes that they both voted in back when they was doing the debt ceiling deals and that whole stupid thing when Obama said he wasn't going to send out the Social Security checks. I mean, think about somebody that says that, man. I'm not going to threaten people that get Social Security and say something that they paid for their whole life. They already been getting tax blind and robbed. And then you say, oh, you might not get your Social Security checks. You know what I'm saying? But no, he's the savior. He's the big bad Republicans won't let him get it through. When he had a 2-year majority between the House and the Senate for the first 2 years of his presidency, passed all type of garbage that didn't do anything, and but they say all Republicans won't help them. But when you tell people these facts, they just look at you. It's like their brain freezes up, like there's some type of broken computer, and they just don't get it. So, message to Republicans: I'm gonna tell you where you screwed up. You screwed up with Ron Paul. All you had to do is nominate Ron Paul. The Republican Party would have won the election. Ron Paul would have completely dominated Obama in any debate. But no. And this isn't to the Republican elite. I'm talking about you guys that are just corrupt. Not the guys that are the absolute snakes, the John McCains, the Lindsey Grahams, not those, the John Boehners, not those guys. I'm talking about, which I don't know everybody's history. I'm talking about, let's say, Marco Rubio. Obviously, he's down for the cause. He's good for the backroom deals. But as you can see, his rhetoric was strong as far as about domestic and spending issues. They talked about cuts, 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 cuts. I do think that some of these guys that are kind of up and comers, down for the cause, still good old boys, still going to lie to the public and leave out key facts, but they still wanted to keep, I guess, the party alive as what it is, just to keep the farce going, that they're actually for the Constitution when they voted for the NDAA, which allows for the secret arrest of Americans. So yeah, I'm not saying these guys are patriots or anything. I'm just saying that I think they were trying to keep the scheme going at the level that it was going. By doing some little trivial cuts and acting like they did everybody a huge favor. You know, they were still going to continue the warmongering overseas and all that stuff. Don't worry. See, but even that's dead. Because during the primaries, the Republican primaries, I followed the primaries. The Republicans look like idiots, and Ron Paul ruined this whole thing for them. And I say ruin, it's kind of like a Freudian slip. It's just he didn't ruin it. He actually, that was the best thing for this party or whatever, if you want to call it. Because I see it all as one party. I know they all work together. Democrats claim the Republicans coming after your welfare, but Bush was president for 8 years. Welfare look like it's still in place to me. Clinton had the welfare. I don't get it. Welfare didn't go anywhere when the Republican was president. So how are all these things that they claim that they're gonna do and get rid of? They never have since they've been here. So I don't even get it. But didn't Republicans do welfare reform and it was still welfare? That's what I'm saying. Like they did a huge deal and kept the welfare. So I don't even get how they say they're gonna come after your welfare and food stamps and stuff. Obama's the one trying to push all that stuff and incentivize that stuff. You know what I mean? But that's how it is. Hey, that's how people need food stamps. Shoot, it'd have been something else. 45 million people weren't just going to starve to death. So, hey, whatever, some type of program was going to do it. The government just wants to have it so they can control it. They don't want a civilian. They don't want a civilian. They don't want a civilian. They don't want a civilian program like a civilian food stamp program because they won't be able to threaten to cut that, and it'll be grassroots funded. And then grassroots will help them, the people that's in that program, get out of that program. The government just wants to just give it to you or whatever, and you're not doing anything for it. That's the only thing. Because of course programs like that exist. Does 350 million people? It's a free market society. Some people ain't gonna be able to do it. It's not like I'm in the best situation. Shoot. Come on now. It's a rough world. But those things will naturally work themselves out if you make the economy healthy. You see what I'm saying? The whole issue is the economy, and the whole issue is the way the federal government has passed laws and regulations to make it hard to open up your own business, hard for there to be more jobs and opportunity. Then they come like they're giving you help, turning into the hand that helps you, and it's really the hand that's hurting you at the same time. The hand wants you to keep eating out of it. That's the only thing. They need that block of people because they feel like they can control them and control them on issues. So You know, Obama is a cult figure. You know, it's like he's like a Marilyn Manson type guy. Those people that are all into him are just all into him. You know, but as his persona fades, as things get worse, as the acceleration of the collapse of the economy goes forth, a lot of people are going to lose their favorable opinion of him. As you can see, he basically was tied in the popular vote, you know, which wasn't the case 4 years ago. He lost a lot of support, but the Republicans, they killed themselves, which I'm gonna stay on track with them. They killed themselves during the primaries, the Republican primaries. You know, they basically ran. You know, Mitt Romney was the guy from the beginning. They basically ran a bunch of stooges around him, and Michelle Bachmann basically, I think she was seriously trying to do it, but I guess she figured once everybody found out Mitt Romney was the guy, then they started dropping out. But they stayed in. Ron Paul was the last guy to stay in. I mean, he was the only one getting even enough money to stay in it and be in the race. He was still getting millions from supporters, while Newt Gingrich and all these other campaigns were supposed to be in debt and had like these small crowds that nobody used to come to, you know. And but except they won states with Ron Paul and winning. Then after the primaries, they admitted, oh yeah, he won Maine and Iowa. Oh, you know what? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nevada too. I mean, I watched the primaries. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, some states they were taking weeks to count. They were announcing winners at 2% of the vote, and they were announcing that they announced Romney won at 4%, and then blacked out live coverage the whole night, and just kept playing the coverage from the night before in the victory speech. They still haven't counted stuff from Nevada. It's a mess. All people were stepping down. People were stepping down from Republican state chairs when the vote started. They were stepping down that at midnight that night. And then they would just leave and not be available for comment. Like it was just a complete scandal how the whole thing was handled, and they were creating the illusion that, oh, he can't win, he can't win. Then the mainstream media joined joined in and said, hey, you know, we're going to be complicit in this, and they didn't. They either ignored Ron Paul, and then in the debates they didn't give him any time. So what I'm saying is that they were blatantly unfair. And Ron Paul took the high path, the high ground. He didn't even fight. He didn't even talk about the election fraud, even though there were just thousands and thousands and thousands of reports and incidents, people getting kicked out, lights getting turned off, not letting voters in, all type of crazy stuff. It was just a circus, right? All that to just get this globalist Mitt Romney the nomination, which was the setup. I knew that from the Iowa straw poll. Romney came in third or maybe fourth in the Iowa straw poll, which they were hyping up was like the biggest Republican event of the year, and Ron Paul came in like basically tied. So I mean, so the Republicans really screwed themselves, and what it did was it opened the eyes of a lot of people who didn't necessarily believe the Republican Party was doing people dirty like that. Then you got younger voters more politically involved. They saw it. Everybody saw the scandal, but but see, the Democrats didn't pay attention because they figured, you know, they got their guy Obama, and the supporters felt like they were winners and all that disgusting stuff. So the Republicans, the microscope was on them, and it was just a mess, man, a mess, a mess, a mess. And everybody saw their true colors. Everybody's seen what they're about. So I don't. I think a lot of people sat out to vote or wrote in a libertarian candidate, Ron Paul, wrote in people, and then people started focusing on the local levels. So now the GOP is stuck here with Obama. They can't do anything. They don't have it. They don't even have grassroots support. Only thing that's gonna stop Obama is the NRA probably with all the 4 million gun owners and 450 million guns. So thanks Republicans, you screwed yourselves.